Our next speaker is an accomplished entrepreneur who has had the privilege of working with some of those most recognizable Fortune 500 companies, including FedEx and Sprint. She has successfully launched several medical device companies, serves her community. She's an author, speaker, and mentor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Marie Cosgrove!
I love that song. Thank you, Barbara.
Your greatest ability is possibility. Your greatest ability is possibility. The possibility when you have challenges and you're able to overcome when you're facing the most difficult tragedies in your life. And that's when you have your greatest power, is that ability to see possibility when no one else sees it. I remember being at a trade show a couple years ago, and I was standing next to my clinical director. A doctor came up to him and asked him a question. He said, "I don't know, ask the boss." The doctor says, "Oh, your wife?" And he says, "No, my wife is over there." The doctor comes up to me and he says, "Does your husband run this company?" And I said, "No." "Well, who's the boss?" I said, "That's me." "Are you a doctor?" "No." "How in the world did you become in charge of this company?" Rush Limbaugh once asked me that question too. How did you become CEO after being fired? I was a single mom with 4 kids. I had just lost my home. I had lost my car. I had lost everything. I had left a domestic violence situation. I had full custody. Dad lost parental rights. I was looking for a position in sales because I thought I could create my own income and be able to take care of my 4 little ones at the time. I finally convinced the president of an organization to give me an opportunity if I passed all of the tests. I went to training. I did very well. At the end of about a week, I had scored 100 on everything. I was really excited because I knew I was in. The president was speaking to a room about this size, all males. I didn't take notice, honestly. I was in back of the room. I was the only female, and the reason I took notice is because he said, "Some of you did very well on the test, but you're not going to make it in this industry because it's a man's world." I looked around and I saw all these men, and I said, "He's talking to me." It's like, wow. So when he was walking out, I said, "You were talking to me, weren't you?" And he says, "Yes, I was talking to you. Look, just go home. You're a little girl. You're not going to make it in this industry." His VP came up and he says, "You know, I've got to take these doctors out to the strip clubs. I've got to take them out hunting. I've got to take them out fishing. This is high-end capital equipment. You're not cut out for that. Are you willing to go to the strip club?" And I said, "No, I don't need to do that because I know that my greatest ability is possibility." I said, "Look, just give me 30 days. You have nothing to lose. If I don't meet my quota, then you can let me go. Straight commission." They went ahead and wrote up the contract, but they laughed while they did that. I went home convinced that I was going to prove them wrong because I knew that my greatest ability was, say it loud, possibility. All of you have possibility, the ability to see possibility. It's just being able to recognize that, and when you fall, being able to get back up. I was so determined, but when I got home, I found that my grandfather was diagnosed with leukemia. I knew I had 30 days, but I didn't know how much time my grandfather had left. So I stood by his bedside. After 3 weeks, he passed away. And I get a call from the president, and he says, "Little girl, we're letting you go." I said, "Wait a minute, I've got 1 week left." He just laughed and hung up. That week, I went out and I knocked on many, many doors from morning till evening. Everyone said no, and I finally got an appointment on the last day with a doctor that had multiple clinics. He ended up buying equipment for all of his clinics. I called the president and I said, "I've made my quota. I'm in." And he just laughed and he says, "Yeah, let's see if that check clears." Well, the check cleared, and I became the top sales representative in that company. However, several years pass, and I get a call and I'm told that they're very proud of me, that I'm doing very, very well. I had a dinner invitation from one of the owners of the company, and when I sat with them, they sent me a piece of paper across the table. I looked at it. It was an offer, and I was expecting to be a partnership or something of a bigger opportunity, because I always saw possibility. But it wasn't. It was less than what I was making on a monthly basis. They said that I was making too much money. They said, "You're not a doctor. You're not an engineer. You shouldn't be making more than we make. You need to be on salary." What they didn't understand is that I had no child support to rely on. I was a full-time single mom. 2 of my kids had serious medical conditions that required extensive medical care. And so I said, I can't take this offer. I'll stay in the same arrangement we have now. I'll stay with that. And they said, no, if you don't accept this, you're fired. Don't even show up to your next training. I was let go, and I had to start all over again. After I had lost everything, I went from making a very good yearly income to nothing and having to start all over again. I knew that my greatest ability was, and when I was let go, I could have remained bitter. I could have remained angry. A lot of people said, you need to sue because obviously this is a racist thing. This is, they're against you, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't have time for that. I've got 4 kids to support. I'm going to start my own company. I started another company with relationships I had built with clinicians, got FDA clearance. Within 2 years, I get a call from the company that fired me. And they said, are you interested in investing in our organization? I looked at the books, and I had noticed that I had done the majority of the sales. And so I decided not to invest, but to buy the company. So, thank you. The people that had let me go ended up working for me. And a decade later, we became the world leader. Everybody thought I would bankrupt myself, the company, within 6 months. But a decade later, we're the leader in our industry. It's very niche. Neurologists use our diagnostic devices. So I won't get into that because it's boring stuff. But I learned that my greatest ability was possibility. How many of y'all like money? Raise your hand. Yeah? Okay. Rita?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so I want someone to come up here and get some money. Who wants to come up and get some money? There you go. Yay. So only one person came up here to grab some money. Why do you think most of you stayed down?
Fear.
Fear. What else?
Do we have to bend a frying pan to get it?
Why else? There's a catch? Hey, Eric, was there a catch? No. How much do you have in your hand? $100. $100. Some of you all probably thought it was $1, right? Not worth it.
I'll play.
You'll play? Too late. You missed the opportunity. So now y'all come up. But see, a lot of reasons why we don't jump into opportunity is because of that fear. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of what's the catch, or what if this happens? Or, I don't know, maybe some of you were afraid of tripping up, coming up here. I know I trip all the time, so that would have been my fear, and embarrass myself coming up. But a lot of us have these fears. Unless you learn to jump at opportunity, that's the way that you're going to overcome, and you're going to be able to see the possibility during the challenges. We need to learn to overcome these fears. Yes, I had fears, but the opportunity was greater. Now, you might have come up here and just gotten $1, or maybe 100, or maybe more. But the idea is you don't know unless you jump into your opportunity. Anybody else want to come up for some money? There you go. Thank you. That's it. Too late. You can't be late. You got it. What do they say? The early bird gets the worm? Can't be late. But I want to impress that idea on you that you've got to jump into opportunity. And so many times we don't see that. Instead, we fold over, we cry, we throw a pity party, instead of getting back up and looking at the opportunities in front of you. Do y'all like stories? There's a story that really impacted my life and showed me that there's so much more to life than money, success. It starts like this. In 1969, on New Year's Day, Johnny and his wife, Frances, were traveling to Mexico from McAllen, Texas, down south here in the state. And they were traveling down a road known as La Espina del Diablo, the Devil's Spine. It's still known as one of the most dangerous treks in Mexico. And while they were driving down, their daughter was traveling with them, and it was raining. It was dark, thunder, middle of the night, and suddenly there was a sharp curve, and Johnny crashed. And his daughter in the back seat, her head was completely crushed. People stopped by, not to help, but to loot and steal all of their belongings. 24 hours later, finally, a good Samaritan stops by and helps them to the closest hospital. When they get to the hospital, the doctor said, "Wow, you're lucky that your daughter is still alive." Well, Frances, the mother, she said, "Well, what can we do to help her? And I don't believe in luck. I believe in something much greater than luck." And the doctor said, "There's nothing that can be done. She's got internal bleeding in the brain." Frances said, "Well, why don't you do surgery to stop the bleeding?" Because she saw possibility in this challenge. One of her mantras was, with man, things may be impossible, but with God, all things are possible. So she said, "Bring someone in." And the doctor says, "We don't have a surgeon skilled enough to do this type of surgery here. This is a small hospital. And if we bring someone in, by the time he gets here, she'll be dead or a vegetable if she survives the surgery." She says, "I don't care, because I know that with God, all things are possible." They brought in the surgeon. They did the surgery. She survived the surgery, but she was in a coma. Several months passed. The doctors said, "We're going to have to pull the plug because there's no sign of recovery." Frances, she says, "What's not possible with man is possible with God. All things are possible." She says, "No, just give me one more day." How many of y'all wish you had just one more day to accomplish something? Or you just had that extra time? She got on her knees and she prayed, and she had all her family members pray. And the next morning, before they pulled the plug, her daughter opened her eyes. She had to learn how to walk, talk, and how to do everything all over again, but she still had brain damage, but she was going home. During recovery, her daughter got attacked and violently raped. She ended up pregnant. The doctors said there is no way that she can carry this child to term because she's under so many medications. This child's going to end up with mental issues, also physical disabilities. She can't physically carry this child to term. The daughter says, "God saved my life, and I'm not going to take the life inside of me." Her mother said, "Well, I will help you take care of your child." And the doctor looked at her and says, "You can't do that. You don't understand. You're too old." And like I said, this child's going to be born with all kinds of deformities with all the medications she's on. And bringing a child into this world out of wedlock, into poverty, this is just going to be a disaster. You need to abort this child. But Frances says that what's not possible with man is possible with God because all things are possible. Thankfully, because of that choice that they made, I'm standing here today speaking to you because I'm that child. The company that we work with, that's what we do. We actually develop devices, diagnostic devices and treatment devices to help people like my mother that have gone through car accidents and traumatic brain injuries. We're in some of the major hospitals and our military uses it. So it's just like come full circle. But I learned that we all have value because I didn't always feel that this situation was a miracle. I thought I was cursed. I thought I had no value because I had no dad. And I thought that I was just worthless. And so when people insulted me, I took it to heart because I said, they're right. I don't even have a dad. I don't know who he is. I'm a product of rape. I was born to a mentally disabled single mom. I'm worthless. And that's how I felt until I met my Savior, Jesus Christ, who helped me realize that we all have value. We all matter. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your circumstance. Every one of you can make an impact in this world. And we should all treat each other with love and respect, regardless how much money they have, whether they don't have any. It doesn't matter. I share more details in my book that I have out in the lobby later on, maybe during lunch break. But I want to share with you, if you can turn to the news article on the slide. Do y'all see that? Yep. Okay, so it's in Spanish. You won't be able to read it. I just want to share this with you because this was on the front cover of the newspapers. There was several articles about the accident, but in the article it talks about how the police were ready to arrest my grandfather for involuntary manslaughter, and the local Catholic Church was there ready to, give the last rites because they knew that she was absolutely going to die, and they knew he was absolutely going to go to jail because he was driving, he caused a car crash, he was not drunk or anything like that, but that was the law at that time in Mexico, so they were ready to arrest him. This whole thing was a miracle in so many ways, not only in her surviving, but my grandfather staying out of jail, because if she hadn't made it. The woman on that bed, that's my mom before the car accident. I know that from tragedy, we can experience transformation. And for me, that's come from my faith. Thank you so much for having me. Anybody? Thank you. So anybody want to jump into opportunity? There you go.
Thank you. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless y'all. Thank you.
I listened to Marie Cosgrove's speech today here at the Great American Summit. She's absolutely my favorite speaker. And the message that resonated with me the most was her grit and resilience. It's inspirational, and hopefully a model I'll follow myself.
Why you guys should have Maria come and speak at your event. Her story is amazing. When she talks about her story, how it is possible, really motivated me to change my life.
I just finished listening to Marie Cosgrove and I was blown away. I didn't know a lot about Marie, and after listening to her story, I was just like shook to my core. It was just amazing to hear how much she prevailed and rose above and believed in herself and took huge risks. She's an amazing speaker, an amazing contributor, and I just absolutely loved her speech.
Marie Cosgrove just energized me from my bones out. Her story of her mom and her grandparents and the accident and being fired from a company that she came back and bought and now is the CEO of was just completely inspirational and incredible. Marie got the whole crowd going, not just myself, got a standing ovation. She's such an amazing speaker. She knows exactly how to get you going. And especially in these times with COVID and everything, when you think that everything's as bad as it can possibly get, you hear a story like Marie's and you know that right away, you know that you can just get out of it. Nothing can stand in our way. If she could do it, we can do it.